All right, let's continue with the rest. The next thing I would like to do is, when we have our figured out what configuration we need, the configuration, what packages we want, is get it on the ISO of ArcoLinux. So we're still making our workflow, what to do. So we have ArcoLinux ISO with Alice, and I'm separating the ArcoLinux creation from whatever project I have in mind, because there's a lot of what ifs that could be applied to the same workflow that I'm doing now. How to create ArcoLinux and put X, Y, and Z on ArcoLinux. Now we're putting Alice on there. Maybe I can plant a little seed. Why not put LARPs on there? Right? Anything is possible. Any project is possible. So this is separating the ArcoLinux building process and then getting something in there. The something is Alice. And that's why we call it AA, Arch, and Alice. So now I need to make a repository how to create ArcoLinux and include also Alice. And we're gonna call it AA. All right. Create repository, copy, go back to here, and in here we're gonna git clone it. We got ourselves a AA. Now this one and this one go in here. I can already push it and tell him it's maintenance, right? Maintenance files. All right, let me do that first. All right, let's have a look. So these are my maintenance files, and maybe let's make a quick release for you guys. Create a new release and call it maintenance. So if you want to have these files, they're gonna be on there forever and ever and ever. So it always starts with 2 scripts. Voila. So it only contains these 2 guides, but as a reference point for future, who knows? You have something to start with. Those 2 is a starter. And then we need something to build. Oh, but building ISOs, that's something we've done like always, right? In all our scripts, there's number 30 and number 40. So basically, we've been building ISOs like forever. So we're gonna get the code in that we have already created and is already available. Data, AA. This is it. And I can actually get the README as well, because all it says is ArcoLinux and Alice. All right. Arch and Alice becomes AA. So Control C, Control V, and this is it. Control C, Control V. That's the way to build Alice or AA. Let's have a look at the codes. So super F. This will stop everything in its tracks if there's an error. If I do this, it will stop in its tracks. So use it when you're debugging. We want to have a pure arch, right? And Linux of ArcoLinux calls his ISO, of course, ArcoLinux with a date, a year, a month, a day, and then the rest. We have our Arch ISO version that we've put up here. We told them that if we want to build, put it in there, create a folder called AA build, and where he's going to put the ISO is going to be in AA out if you want other paths, add documents in between or something. I don't know where you want to put things, right? But tell it where. He's going to figure out the version, Arch ISO version, just going to remind you that you've built that particular ISO on a certain version, because Arch ISO package is what we need. And Arch ISO, as long as you don't have Arch ISO, and I don't know what Linux distribution you're on now, but we need the Arch ISO package. So, gonna check if the correct version is used and all that, and then gonna make sure that it is installed. Let's improve our script by reading. So I'm always saying in the phases at the top what I'm doing, so I still know. Okay, checking if Arch ISO is installed. So query, is it installed? Yeah, it is installed. Else, yay. And Trizen, so Trizen is out, Paru, or installing with Paru, and then we do Paru. Now, as long as yay is installed, it will never get into here, so we never get in issues. But if we're reading the code, why not change it? We're telling make Arch ISO, one of the D file, right? D package, D executable from Arch ISO, to tell him, tell us information, verbose, be quiet, yes, no, be not quiet, so be verbose. Deleting the build folder if one exists, we build and build and build and try again. So we first make sure everything is gone. If it exists, the directory, then you remove it with sudo, because become root permissions there. And then copy the Arch ISO folder to build work, so you have your own system. Don't mess in your own system. User share Arch ISO configs for lang. Use the source code. Do not go changing anything in there. And then copy everything to the build folder, Arch ISO. And here is where you could say, I just want to have ArcoLinux ISO. Then you hashtag all these out. And you've got it. Now, here I make directory, build folder, Arch ISO, AI root file system, Alice. I put inside of the build folder a new folder. So this is the root. This is root, right? Home, root, etc. That's the root. And in there I'll put Alice. Now we're git cloning from GitHub, Eric Dubois. ArcoLinux ISO, Alice to Alice. Is that correct? Control C. Okay, URL is correct. So that's that. Now, being developer, I've always also made a Alice dev, so I can have something that just works, and another one that's broken, and I test things and I do this and do that. But in the meantime, I've won something that's actually working. Now we're gonna hashtag this one out, or even delete this one, depending, right? If you want to follow that road, it's a good idea to have one that just works and the other one with configurations that you're trying out. Enfin, choices, right? So it depends what you want to do. I'm thinking of doing it in the same time. Doesn't cost us anything, right? Doesn't cost us anything. All it costs is a few more minutes. If this is Alice, then this is ls dev. Agreed? Voila. And did I now get, can I, did I or not? I did not. Dev. So this one, don't copy this one over. Control H, Control A, Control C, and then Control V. And then you copy paste this again to there. Voila. That's online, which means I can keep my idea and my lines, but not the one from Eric Dubois. I'm making the jump to an official part of ArcoLinux project. How to learn to install ArcoLinux with the real ArcoLinux ISO. Add a folder, that's all we do. We add a folder, 2 of them, one to test out, one the real thing. So we'll have 2 folders on there. And it's fun, right? Adding packages to the package list. One of the things I did not like, that is, I had to type every single time pacman -s y git and install git. Take some time, okay, and so on. So I told him here, go add git at the very end, append on the packages file, so get the Lego blocks in. I want that on the ISO. That's the only change I've made. Add git, well, not only, we'll continue. I wanted to know at what particular time did I create this ISO. So date, now, date, build, touch, a folder, a name, and a file that we use in ArcoLinux, devrel, so we recognize the devrel thing, ArcoLinux ISO built on, and put it in devrel. So I know on the ISO will be in etc devrel the name, well, not the name, but the ArcoLinux ISO build is on and a date. Now, the project of the way ArcoLinux is built up is that you have to xmod or a modx or a schmodx, and that's what I mean. You have to make it things executable, and it's in the profile dev. Now, I've made I don't know if I'll change anything, but at this point in time, I've made a script called start sh, and I start everything with it. And one of the things we do is we make everything executable again, because when you git clone it and everything is built and you start up, you boot up ArcoLinux, all these files, all these .sh, so shell files, are not executable. So what we do is we add, here's the A, we add a text behind it. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, that's why. Here is Alice, and here is Alice dev. We have 2 folders. So in the profile dev, we tell him, go after this, after live CD sound, if you find this, put this line behind it and put this line behind it. So it is actually executable. This needs some change, probably, because I've copied my own etc nano rc. Or we keep it, or we make it part of the folder, right? So what I've done is, instead of putting it in the GitHub, instead of putting it here, I just go grab it from the computer because it's there, right? So etc nano RC, this thing, Control C, I grab it from here. Might be better if we grabbed it from here. So copy me, nano RC, I'm running this, I will be running this, and he'll say I'm gonna copy nano RC to the build folder. Save is maybe a better idea. So you change anything you like into the settings of the nano RC thing. You think it's not necessary? Wait till you read a white text inside ArcoLinux. When you boot up the environment and you want to change something in the alice.conf, it's all white, right? You don't know what's not used and you don't know what's used. With nano RC there, you immediately see colors. That's used and all the rest is not. Okay, so that's why it's there. And then phase 6 is cleaning the cache. I leave it in just to show you the code. If you want to get rid of all your var cache pacman packages in here, that's the code. I'll use it for faster builds. And then if the out folder does not exist, make the out folder, go in there to the build folder, arch ISO, go in there and run this thing with all the variables. So basically this is the key line. 205 says build me an ISO. And then the rest is just creating checksums. If you want to share it with people and you want to put it online, and you say here's the checksum and he can check if it's correct or not. You have the package list. So this I've just kept everything the way we share ArcoLinux, our Carly, ALCI, all that, right? And this can be removed. Let's clean it a little bit up, like so. That's it. So that's the script. I'll guess we're not going to build it right now. First, we need to dive into the code, but this we can already push to the internet. Creation of the script. Voila, that's online for you to download.